Hi, it's Leah here from the Centre of Ki, and today I'm going to just do a short tutorial on various ways to get into down dog. Down dog is one of the most well-known yoga poses of all time, and a lot of people find it really easy, but a lot of people also really struggle with it. So I just want to show you a couple of tips and ways to help get into it, and what better way than to have my lovely dog Flint here with me to help me practice. So what you're going to need for this is a mat if you want to practice along. Now I'm using just a cotton mat here. I don't actually have a rubber sticky yoga mat anymore because my lovely dog chewed it up and I haven't replaced it yet. But when I actually was learning to do down dog, I did not use a sticky mat at all. So you require a little more strength to be able to hold a down dog that's not on a sticky mat. So if you want to challenge yourself, then try that. I could also practice on my wooden floor that's slightly more tactile, less likely to slip on. However, I did just wash my floors as well, so they are a little bit slippery. Hey, shall we have a go? All right. So the first way to get into down dog is to actually start by coming onto your hands and knees. So, excuse me, pup, I just need a bit of space. All right, so hands are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. So we're in this sort of tabletop position. I actually ask people to spread their fingers as much as they can. So we want the fingers spread with the middle finger pressing forwards away from you, okay? And so from this position, it's just a matter of pressing through the arms, tucking the toes into the floor, so feet about hip width wide. Oh, I think he's found a good spot. All right, and then we take a breath in, and breathing out, taking the bottom up towards the ceiling. Now, it's really important to try and press the tailbone to the ceiling and push the heels towards the floor, as well as pushing the hands into the mat. A lot of people sort of come into this forward position, or their back is really arched, they can't quite unbend the knees, which is fine, we all got to start somewhere. But ideally, what we're focusing on is the heels pressing towards the floor, and wait, can you move out of the way? Thanks, buddy. All right, and then looking back between the knees behind us. Arms are stretching and lengthening, tailbone moving away from us. Okay, and that's a good down dog. Now, sometimes the shoulders can roll in towards the head, and we try to sort of roll the shoulders open a little bit so that we don't get this crunching in the neck. Okay, so just notice where your shoulders are rolling in relation to the rest of you. Okay, so that's the first version, and you can shake out your arms, give the shoulders a bit of a roll. Lovely. And it is really important to work on the arm strength. Down dog is also ideal for building belly strength. Down dog is actually considered a rest pose in a lot of vinyasa style yoga, where you're flowing from pose to pose to pose, and the down dog is actually the rest. So just keep that in mind if it is a struggle to do down dog, that eventually it can become second nature and quite easy and considered a rest pose. The other way I like to teach people about how to get into down dog is to actually come into a child's pose and then take the hands in front of the head. So your hands are shoulder width and your head is on the floor. And that's kind of like a nice length for where the hands should be. And from there, you just come onto the knees, keeping the hands where they are. So now we're not quite in a tabletop. The hands are possibly slightly forwards of where you were in a tabletop. Again, tucking the toes in, taking a breath in without moving the hands or feet, and exhale, pushing back. So this might be a slightly wider distance between the hands and the feet in this version of down dog. And again, we're still trying to push the heels down, look back between the legs, press into the hands and push the tailbone away. Okay, and breathing and holding there. Lovely stuff. Again, you can let the shoulders relax, give them a little roll. And then the next version, which is one of a stronger version, is where we actually start on the belly. So you're lying down and you want to bring the hands in beside the chest. And we tuck the elbows in, push the shoulders away. And again, feet are hip width wide, tucking the toes into the floor. And once we push up into down dog,
you don't want to move the hands and feet around if you can help it. Okay, if you start to move the hands and feet once you're up, then just come back down, realign, and then go back up. Okay, so this version is slightly more strong because it requires us to push up off the floor. And what we're going to try and do is push into a plank first, and then take the bottom up to the ceiling. So it looks like this, where we take a breath in, exhale, pushing into a plank, and then going further, taking the bottom up, pushing into the hands, pushing into the heels, looking back between the knees. Again, really trying to stretch the sacrum away from your head and your heels. Lovely. All right, so that's another version. And there is one more that I will show you. I'm just going to take a moment to breathe. Where instead of going into a plank first, we're going to try and lift so that the sacrum is guiding the movement up towards the ceiling. So this requires another level of strength that perhaps you might not have yet, or maybe you do have, and that's the challenge that you want. So just have a play. I find yoga is a great playground for the mind and the body. So tuck those elbows in, tuck the toes in. From here we breathe in, and on the exhale, the bottom, pushing up, pushing up, pushing up, pushing up, pushing up, all the way into that down dog. And holding and breathing again, looking back between the knees, maybe even trying to look up towards the belly button as the hands push into the floor, the heels press down to the mat, and the sacrum lengthens to the ceiling. Lovely stuff. And then coming all the way down onto the knees, let's walk them through. And just take a moment, if you've been practicing with this, to lie down, let that go, and just relax and breathe. So down dog, very good for creating strength in the belly, strong in the arms and the shoulders. Ideally, you want to try and open through the backs of the legs. So if you have really tight through here, and it's hard to lengthen the back of the knee and to stretch through the calf, then I've got a few leg classes that you might like to try. I've also got some arm and shoulder classes that you could try to help strengthen, lengthen, improve the limbs, the strength of the limbs, the power of the limbs. And also a few core classes would be helpful to bring that core strength in the front and the back, so that you have that ability to hold a down dog for an extended period of time. 5 breaths, 10 breaths, 20 breaths, whatever you name it. So there are modifications of down dog. You can do down dog against a wall. I can do another video to show you how to do that if that's something you want to try. It just takes the weight off the wrists and the hands. So if you do have wrist pain, that can be quite challenging to do a down dog like we've just done today. All right, so thank you so much for watching. I hope this little mini tutorial has been helpful. My name is Leah. I'm a yoga teacher at the Centre of Ki, which is my yoga school in the Barossa Valley in South Australia. And I look forward to seeing you again in another video. Thanks for watching.